those of you who only speak human, welcome to my movie review for Dolittle. Oh, well, you have to be slightly mad to do an intro like this. Oh, touch of madness. It's good for you. Let's go. What's up, dudes and dudettes? All you awesome people! Welcome to the Geeky Heathen channel. I am Glen, the Geeky Heathen, here with my spoiler-free review for Universal's 2020 movie adaptation of Dolittle. This is spoiler-free. All my reviews are spoiler-free. I give you a synopsis. I'll talk about anything that's been in the trailers, the adverts for it, and I'll talk about a few of the characters. But I will not give away plot details. I won't spoil the movie. It's spoiler-free. So, I have a feeling, though, that my review, my feelings upon the movie are quite different than a lot of people's. Even a lot of people watching this review now. You may even describe it as controversial. I heard a lot of negative reviews before I saw this movie. One of my friends in passing, just said, "Oh, I'm going to see Dolittle." He said, "Dolittle, save your time, don't go see it. It's rubbish." And I've heard a lot of terrible things about it. But I still went to see it because it's Dolittle, and I was quite excited. So, the synopsis for this Dolittle, it's set in Victorian ages, it is. It's directed by Stephen Gaham? Gaham? I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I probably should practice pronunciations before I film, but someone could tell me how to pronounce his name. Directed by Stephen Gaham. It's inspired by The Voyages of Dolittle, which is the second book in Hugh Lofting's published books, Dolittle. And I like the title of that, I do, actually, The Voyages of Dolittle. I think that would have been a better title for this movie, personally. So, set in Victorian ages, and the movie itself has a very, very interesting intro. It has a whole animated intro letting you know about Dolittle. Dolittle was a doctor who could speak to animals, and he opened up a sanctuary for animals and brought them all in, spoke to them all. The world was great, everything was good, and he helped the Queen in England, and she gave him land, and he opened his sanctuary on this land. And he had a wife, he was married, he dealt with animals, she was an explorer, she explored. And the whole synopsis, the whole movie is about he becomes a recluse because he loses his wife. His wife went on an adventure and it appears that she died, and he becomes a recluse, shuts his whole sanctuary and whole animals in, and doesn't want to speak to anyone. He's not seen again for anyone for years. Kind of Willy Wonka, chocolate factory, shut down sort of thing. And that's where the story starts. The adventure is someone brings an injured animal to him, a young child, and he goes on an adventure from that, set off that moment there, because he's going to lose his sanctuary if he doesn't help the Queen of England. That's the synopsis, that's the storyline, that's what happens in this. I'm not going to give you the plot details to tell you exactly what happens or where the adventure takes them to, but that's how it starts, and that's the synopsis. So this is a live action, and the cast is Robert Downey Jr., you have Antonio Banderas, and you have Michael Sheen in this. And voice actors, there is a lot of voice actors. I didn't even realise how many voice actors or how many famous voice actors were in this until after I got to my review. I've looked them up, and I've written down how many there is. So there is Emma Thompson, Rami Malek, John Cena, Kumail Nanjiani, Octavia Spencer, Tom Holland, Craig Robinson, Ralph Fiennes, Selena Gomez, and Marion Cotillard. A lot. There's a lot of voice actors. I can't even place them. Some of them I can. Afterwards, I'm like, oh, that must be. I really need to do a second viewing so I can place the voice actors with the characters. Some of the main characters I can place them with. So, why is my review going to be different to a lot of people's? I enjoyed the movie. In general, I enjoyed it. So, This had 175 million budget. This movie did. It was filmed between March and June of 2018, and then they had initial screen tests, and they had some poor results from it. So they did some reshoots, 3 weeks of reshoots in spring of 2019. So it doesn't bode well that they had to do reshoots and initial testing go through. But this is a family film, and it's definitely aimed for a younger audience. Don't go in there expecting it to be an adult thing. It's definitely family fun. Even like the fighting scenes are punchy, sword fightings. There's no blood that I can recall. There's no sort of anything like that. It was all just punch ups and knocking people out. There wasn't any sort of violence per se with like blood or anything like that. Definitely a family film. The comedy as well aimed for a younger audience. Though I still laughed at a few points. I thought it was quite funny, some of the points. I found it quite nonsensical. It was a nonsense, whimsical movie. It was quite a good adventure movie. I quite one thing that really threw me, took me a while to get used to. Robert Downey Jr. has chosen to have a Welsh accent in this. I don't think I'm used to it now. It just threw me, just seeing him act in this movie with a Welsh accent. Every time he spoke, it was just so surreal. I had such a surreal moment. I couldn't quite focus on the scene. I was more focused on his voice. Like, did he say that? What was he saying? It was very, very strange. But once I got past that, I started to quite enjoy it. I think he did a good Welsh accent. It sounded very good to me. At some points, I think it almost fell out of the Welsh accent though. It almost had just a generic, I would say, British accent. But for the most part, it was a good Welsh accent. I enjoyed it. He's like I say, he's eccentric. The character, he kind of reminded me, eccentric like in appearance and mannerism. He very much reminded me of Captain Jack Sparrow, almost in this nonsensical, because the character himself had shut himself away from human interactions for years and years. He had this eccentric side to him and this very, very strange mannerisms, and I quite liked it. I really enjoyed it. Almost like I said, I use the comparison of Jack Sparrow because of the way Jack was very eccentric, very strange mannerisms, and I felt this way about Doctor as well. You didn't know what was going on. I will give you some pros and cons. That's how I'll review this, because I enjoyed this. I've already said I enjoyed the movie. I feel like it could have been better. I'm not going to rate it too highly. I'll get to my rating soon. But I'll do some pros and cons. Pros. How Dolittle communicates with animals. I really like the way that was portrayed in this movie. It's very, very good. There's a scene that shows you Dolittle talking, and he's making animal noises. So when he's talking to a monkey, he's ooh, ha, 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 ooh, 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 ooh. And if he's talking to a cat, for example, it would be meow, 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 and he's making all these noises and all these actions and mannerisms. As the camera comes in, it kind of focuses more, comes into focus, and they're all talking in English, the animals and Dolittle. I really like the way that was done. There was one particular scene where they're looking from the outside through a window, and you can hear through the window, and you can hear the animals talking in animal language, and he's talking back to them in animal language. And as the camera comes to the window and zooms through the window, when it comes through, it goes focus. As that focus comes through, they're all speaking English, and I thought that was a fantastic way of showing this. So throughout the whole movie, he is talking in animal language, but he's not speaking English. I thought it was a fantastic way of portraying it throughout the movie. I really liked that effect and the way they chose to do that. So that's one of my likes of the movie. Also, the visuals. I liked the world. I liked the characters, how they were portrayed, their clothing, the world itself. I thought was very visually stunning. I really liked it. And I'm going to say the storyline. Is this going to be a funny one, this? You'll find out why soon. I liked the storyline. I liked that it was set in this time period, in this era. It was very fantasy based. It was very uh, fantasy adventure style, and off they went. I really liked that, as opposed to doing a modernised Dolittle in the modern world, suddenly speak to animals like the Eddie Murphy version. I quite like that this was set in that period and it followed the adventures. It made me want to see more of this world and follow a bit more. So there's 3 likes. Let's go for 3 dislikes. So CGI, that's one of my dislikes. The CGI animals, that I mean, they were okay. I've seen better. I've seen worse. They were okay, but I just to just CGI. They look too CGI, especially in some of the scenes where you had animals and humans interacting. Some of the action scenes you can see they were all CGI, and it felt too fake to me. I kind of knew they weren't there. They were great by themselves, but then when you had people interacting, you could see it's CGI. I personally, I prefer animatronics. I love puppetry. I think that looks amazing in movies. I like the earlier Star Wars style movies where they use a lot of animatronics and puppets and also CGI. I like the good combination, and I feel like they should have done this in this movie, especially as it had 175 million budget. That's a huge budget, and if that was just for the CGI, then spend some less on CGI and spend more on animatronics and puppets. I think that would have been a lot more better. You can get use. You could have used some real animals. I would have rather had a real dog walking around. I'm sure you can still use some real animals because there is still animals used in movies. But that's just me. Second dislike: the bad guys. The bad guys in this movie. Sorry, forgive me. I know that this is a family film and it's aimed at a younger audience. The way it's told, the jokes, everything about it makes it very seem like it's aimed at a younger audience. Except some more bizarre jokes, some of the like references to like gangster movies are really strange. It was, but most of it's aimed at a younger audience. And the bad guys, they were so OTT. They were mustache twirling, typical OTT bad guys that you'd see in more in a cartoon, like a children's cartoon. They were very, very bad guy-esque. And my third dislike is also the same as my third like. It's the storyline. Now, if you think how do I like it and dislike it, I like the storylines, like the era it's set in. I liked that whole Dolittle in that period. I like the eccentric type of Dolittle, and I like the adventure that went on. But I don't like the way the storyline panned out. I don't like. It felt disjointed. It felt very much like lots of different scenes from a movie that weren't pieced together too well. If that makes any sense at all, I feel like it just probably wasn't directed too good. They could have put it together more or made a longer movie. Maybe it just felt like they've just put a load of scenes and like, yeah, this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene, and it didn't flow together too well. I felt like they could have extended the movie over. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It didn't feel like an hour and 40 minutes. I'm sure it got out before that. It might have even been an hour and a half. And I feel like they should have extended it a bit more and put a bit more details into that movie to make it a bit better and to extend the storyline a bit more. That's my personal opinion, though. That's my thoughts, my feelings, my initial reaction watching it. I kind of want to watch it again to see. I feel like I watched different movies to what everyone reviewed, because after watching it and seeing a few other reviews, a lot of people seem to really, really hate this movie, and they're rating it as almost the worst movie of the year. I mean, it's not Cats. No one's talking about everyone. That's how everyone says it. Everyone's saying, "Well, at least it's not Cats." It seems to be the new way of reviewing movies. Compare it to Cats. Now, I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a good, fun family movie. I enjoyed it so much. I believe that my nieces would love this movie, and I think with the audience that I was with, they were laughing quite a lot. There was a lot of young people there. There was a lot of young children there when I watched it, and they all laughed along at some of the jokes. Some of the jokes didn't make any sense, but they were aimed at a younger audience, and the younger audience laughed at them. So it must have made sense in some way. I laughed along with a lot of the jokes, and I thought I had a good time. It took me a while to be comfortable with the movie. I think because it was a bit disjointed and because of, I'd say, Robert Downey Jr.'s accent, it took me a while to acclimatise and get accustomed to that. But in the end, I quite liked it. I liked the character. I just wish they changed the pacing, added a few more scenes in there, padded it out a bit better, molded it together so it flowed a little bit better. That's my only opinion. I'm going to do my rating now. So, rate my movies as I rate my books on a 5-point system. 1 being I disliked it entirely. I couldn't finish it. Or if I did, I'm disappointed I did. 2 is a poor. Two is a poor. I didn't really enjoy it. A 3 is an average. So it means I saw it. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again, but I did see it and I enjoyed it. It's an average movie. Yeah, it was okay. Popcorn flick, it's fine. A 4 means I enjoyed it and I would watch it again. A 5, that's the ultimate. So the 5 means I want to join the fandom. I want to know everything about this whole world, this universe, this franchise. I want to go out and buy some merchandise. I love it. So 5 is the absolute ultimate. 1 being the worst, 5 being absolute best. I am going to rate this now. 3. I'm going to rate it at 3. I'd say it's average. I don't think it's as bad as people said it was. I don't think it's as good as it could be. It's not a movie that I really enjoyed. It's one that, but I did like it. I just didn't love it. So it's an average movie. It's a 3. I think my nieces will love it. I'd like to take them along to it and see what they think. Maybe I'll come back to you all on social media somewhere and let you know once they've seen it. But this is my opinion. I want to know what you think. Have you seen the movie? And what are your thoughts? Or after hearing all the reviews, are you going to see it? What do you think? Comment down below. All the normal YouTubey stuff. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. And let me know about this review. Am I by myself here? Am I the only one that seemed to actually think it was a good movie? It was an okay movie. It wasn't... Maybe because my expectations were so low going in that I found myself enjoying it. I followed it. I kind of wish the storyline was a little bit different. I wish it was aimed at a slightly older audience and they put a bit more effort into it. But I feel like, yeah, that was a popcorn flick. I sat there and enjoyed it. I don't think I'll rush out to watch it again. I do want to watch it with my niece to see what their opinions is. But other than that, I think it's an average movie. Definitely deserves a 3. It doesn't deserve any lower than that. I think some people seem to really hate it, and I don't understand why. I just feel like I watch different movies than them. There was some bad parts of it. Don't get me wrong. There was when I said about the bad guys. So there's one scene. Antonio Banderas, his whole character, he had a whole character arc, he had a whole complete turnaround, and it came out of nowhere, and I didn't understand what happened or why. But I mean, things like that is where I feel like they should have fleshed it out more. They could have spread it out a bit more and added a few different scenes in there to make it go from this character have his arc from point A to point B, or from A to C. There was no B. There was just like the A to C. So I feel like things like that could be fleshed out better. But that's just my opinion. That's why I'm only going to give it a 3 out of 5. I would like to see them do a sequel, do a second movie of this, but really, really get some good screenwriting done for this and get a good storyline down, because I feel like this could have been an amazing movie. I feel Robert Downey Jr. did a good job. I think he did a very good job. I think his accent threw me initially, but I think he did a great job of it. And he's working with nothing. You know, it's just one person talking to an imaginary creature because it's CGI. I think he did a very, very good job. His acting, I think, shines through on it. You can see it, really see it. But that's my opinion. I'm going to stop waffling on now and let the rest of you... Stop waffling on now and let you all enjoy the rest of your day. But I'll see you all later. I'm the Geeky Heathen. Until next time, much love. Stay awesome.